Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reimer, one of the librarians at the Southeast Bend County Library. Welcome to Library Connections, our weekly readers and listeners advisory videocast. Enjoy. Library Connections number 129. This is the Friday, January 27th, 2023 edition of Library Connections. Jumping right in with the top 5 fiction bestsellers for the week from the New York Times. At number 1, It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. In the sequel to It Ends With Us, Lily deals with her jealous ex-husband as she reconnects with her first boyfriend. At number 2, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. A battered wife, raised in a violent home, attempts to halt the cycle of abuse. At number 3, The Cabinet of Dr. Leng by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child, the 21st book in the Pendergast series. Constance Green travels back in time to prevent the deaths of her siblings. At number 4, Verity by Colleen Hoover. Loan Ashley is hired by the husband of an injured writer to complete her popular series, and she uncovers a horrifying truth. And at number 5, Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. A scientist and single mother living in California in the 60s becomes a star on a TV cooking show. Moving on to the top 5 nonfiction bestsellers for this week. At number 1, Spare by Prince Harry. The Duke of Sussex details his struggles with the royal family, loss of his mother, service in the British Army, and marriage to Meghan Markle. At number 2, The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. The former First Lady shares personal stories and the tools she uses to deal with difficult situations. At number 3, The Nazi Conspiracy by Brad Meltzer and Josh Mensch. The story of a Nazi plot to kill President Roosevelt, Joseph Stalin, and Winston Churchill. At number 4, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. How trauma affects the body and mind, and innovative treatments for recovery. And at number 5, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. The actress and filmmaker describes her eating disorders and difficult relationship with her mother. Our first recommended read for this week is the new murder mystery by Allison Brennan. It's called Don't Open the Door. A family torn apart, a botched investigation, and she'll stop at nothing to get answers. U.S. Marshal Reagan Merritt never bought the FBI's theory that her 10-year-old son's murder was tied to her job. Yet as leads went cold, she had to walk away from the marshals, the case, and her now ex-husband Grant, who blamed her for Chase's death. After Reagan receives a chilling voicemail from her former boss Tommy, claiming new information about Chase's murder, she can no longer stay away from her pain-filled past, especially when Tommy is murdered before she can return his call. Now more than ever, Reagan's determined to find the truth, but the more she digs, the more evidence points to Grant as the killer's true target. But Grant isn't talking. As she tries to pin down her ex, Reagan discovers something much bigger and far more sinister is at play, and she's running out of people she can trust. So if you're looking for a good murder mystery, check out this one. And on a reader's note, this is the second book in the Reagan Merritt series, so if you'd like to start reading from the beginning, check out the first book. It's called The Sorority Murder. Our second recommended read for this week is a cool new sci-fi fantasy title. It's called The Keeper 6 by Kate Elliott, and it features a strong female protagonist who goes in search, basically on a quest, to release her adult son who has been kidnapped. So having said that, let me tell you a little more about it. Esther's son has been kidnapped, so she'll have to take her disgraced band of intrepid explorers out into the beyond, outside the settled worlds, of which Earth is a hidden backwater trade outpost. Her son has been added to a dragon's horde, but she will get him back, because that's what she does. Walk the spaces between the worlds to pick up magical packages from bizarre places, rescue people and creatures she's not even supposed to see, and get herself and her troop into exciting and dangerous places and back out again. Esther is addicted to the adrenaline of her work, even as she's forced to confront that her days at it are numbered, and it puts her friends and loved ones at a bigger risk than she imagined. But she hasn't lost her sense of wonder at it all, and the reader experiences it with her. Verdict: the latest from Elliott is a rollicking magical adventure with a beating heart. Recommended for readers who like their portal fantasies to step through actual portals, and especially for those who fell in love with the hidden linked worlds of Iona Andrews' Innkeeper's Chronicles series. And that's the Library Journal review. Our first audiobook recommendation for this week is The Rom-Com Agenda by Jane Denker. The audio is read by Erica Schnindel. Decker spins rom-com gold in this vibrant, genre-savvy tale. Former foster child Leah Keegan is determined to leave the small town of Willow Cove, New York, after the foster mother she spent the last year caring for dies of cancer. Before she can raise the funds to move, however, she overhears Eli Masterson proposing to his girlfriend Victoria, who is about to start researching a book in Europe. Victoria declines. Heartbroken and determined to win her back, Eli takes the suggestion of his sister Jenna, who proposes a makeover. With rom-com films as a guide, they'll transform Eli into a swoon-worthy romantic hero. When Leah is roped into this scheme by a mutual friend, attraction ignites, but Leah fights it, knowing that Eli only has eyes for Victoria. Or does he? Answering that question is a funny and poignant ride, enhanced by sparkling prose and a stellar lineup of supporting characters, headlined by Jenna and her young daughters Olivia and Zoe. Readers are sure to fall in love with the endearing protagonists of this squeaky clean charmer. And that's the Publisher's Weekly Review. Our second audiobook recommendation for this week is nonfiction. It's called Windfall. It's about the prairie woman who lost her way and the great-granddaughter who found her. And the great-granddaughter, of course, is the author, Erica Bolstad. The audiobook is read by Marnie Penning. In this powerful debut, journalist Bolstad investigates a century-old family mystery involving the disappearance of her great-grandmother. All Bolstad knew about Anna Josephine Stivold, a Norwegian woman who settled in the prairies of North Dakota, was that she disappeared from her homestead in 1907. In 2009, after Bolstad's mother received a surprise check from an oil company that leased land near where Anna once lived, Bolstad started researching Anna's life. What she learned is that Anna filed a homestead claim in the fall of 1905. Less than 2 years later, a judge declared Anna insane after a doctor diagnosed her with what is now known as postpartum depression, and she was committed to an asylum where she remained until her death in 1921. Along the way, Bolstad chronicles North Dakota's history of boom and bust cycles, details how the Homestead Act of 1862 allowed the federal government to displace indigenous peoples so that millions of settlers could claim a new start, and indicts the oil industry for its reliance on such disputed practices as fracking and flaring. Bolstad approaches Anna's story with empathy, and she lucidly explains the impact of oil and gas extraction on the communities that depend on it economically. In unraveling a family mystery, Bolstad tells a much larger, richer story, and that's the Publisher's Weekly Review. Want more reading, listening, and viewing recommendations? Check out the Tech and Book Talk blog, which offers weekly and monthly recommendations, and the back catalog of Library Connections videos found on the Southeast Bend County Library's YouTube page. Moving on to our next section, next week at the library, we'll take a brief look at the events and activities hosted by the library on-site and off for the week ahead of us. This time around, that's the week of January 30th through February 4th, 2023. This info is also found online. Just visit the library's website located at ssclibrary.org and click on the big bold calendar link you'll see located near the top of the page. On a registration note, registration is required for programs unless otherwise specified, or unless the program is of the online on-demand variety, in which case, of course, simply help yourself. You can register for programs through the library's website by calling the library at area code 607-936-3713, or by just dropping by the library. On Monday, January 30th, we've got one program at the library. It's the Lunar New Year celebration. This is for kids. 2023 is a year of the water rabbit, starting from January 22nd, 2023, which is Chinese New Year, and ending on February 9th, 2024, which is Chinese New Year's Eve next year. The sign of the rabbit is a symbol of longevity, peace, and prosperity in Chinese culture. Sounds great. 2023 is predicted to be a year of hope. Join us as we learn traditions of this cultural holiday, the Lunar New Year celebration. Plus, we will create a craft to take home. On Tuesday, January 31st, we have a whole host of programs at the library, kicking things off with Coffee, Tea, and English Vocabulary. This is part of the series for adult learners of English. This program runs from 9:15 to 10:15 a.m., and it's a hybrid program being held both at the library in person and online via Zoom. Then from 10 to 10:30 a.m., it's Story Time with Miss Sue. This program is held at the library in the children's section. And then from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m., it's Coffee, Tea, and English Conversation, another hybrid program. And that's followed by Adult Scrabble from 1 to 3 p.m. That program is held in the library's reading room and is a weekly program, so if you like playing games, join us. Moving on to the afternoon programs on January 31st, we've got an LSC Author Talk from 2 to 3 p.m., this time around with New York Times bestselling author Randall Munroe. Please join us for what is sure to be the most fun-filled hour of the day as we chat online with Randall Munroe about his new book, What If 2? Additional serious scientific answers to absurd hypothetical questions. And to get the link, you have to register and get the link. You go to our calendar of events online, so visit our website, ssclibrary.org, click on the big bold calendar link located near the top of the page, and then with the monthly calendar of events displays, you want to look for January 31st and click on the title. At 2 p.m. it says LSC Author Talk With, and it doesn't quite say Randall Munroe, but if you click on the LSC Author Talk With, you'll get the link. And then moving on to our next program from 3 to 4:30 p.m., we've got GATLIS, Gay at the Library After School. GATLIS offers a safe and supportive space for youth to talk about gender, sexuality, and what's going on in their lives. This program is weekly and is open to anyone ages 11 through 18, which is grades 6 through 12. GATLIS is a partnership program co-hosted by the library and Planned Parenthood of Greater New York. Your program contact is Carmen Greco of Planned Parenthood of Greater New York. And your library contact, if you have questions and you're in the library, is Kayla Crane, who is the head honcho of Young Adult Services at the library. Moving on to Wednesday, February 1st. So much for January. That went fast, didn't it? Anyway, I'm digressing. On Wednesday, February 1st, we have a whole host of programs too, kicking things off with Miss Sue's Preschool Storytime, which is held from 10 to 10:30 a.m. in the Children's Department at the library. Then from 12:10 p.m. to 1 p.m., it's Book Sandwiched In. This week, the review is by Judy Rowe, and she's reviewing Horse by Geraldine Brooks. This program is held at the First Congregational Church in Corning, that's 171 West Pulteney Street. It is a hybrid program, so if you're at home, you can also get the Zoom link by typing in bit.ly/BSI2023. Alternately, you can visit the library's calendar of events on our website and just click on the link. After you click on Book Sandwiched In for that day, of course. Moving on to our next program, we've got the weekly Mahjong session from 1 to 3 p.m. That program is held in the reading room at the library, and they always seem to have a good time. I know it's a game. I don't know too much more about it, but they seem to have fun. So join us sometime. Our late afternoon and evening programs on February 1st include Atlas from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Atlas stands for At the Library After School, so any students can just drop by. Registration is not required. They do a craft each week. It's different each week. It's a surprise, so just plain show up for that. And then from 6 to 8 p.m., we've got Corning Adult Writers Group. This is a hybrid program being held both at the library in person and via Zoom. On Thursday, February 2nd, we've got two programs hosted by the library. The first is a drop-in program from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's Kids Explore Homeschool Group Ice Skating. The location is the Civic Center Plaza Ice Rink, which of course is located between the library building and the City Hall building. During this time, from 10 to 3, homeschoolers can skate for a discounted admission of only $2. You can bring your own skates or rent a pair for only $1. This program is a partnership program between the library and the City of Corning Parks and Recreation Department. Then from 10 to 11:30 a.m., we've got Coffee, Tea, and English Book Club. This is a hybrid program held both at the library in person and online via Zoom. Moving on to Friday, February 3rd, we have a host of programs too. The first is available all day. It's the debut of the monthly book club review with Michelle Wells. The location is online. It's on her writer's blog, so if you go to storymusing.blogspot.com, you will find Michelle's review. And if you're not familiar with Michelle, she is the head honcho of adult services at the library, and she is also a published author. So indeed, see what a writer is reading. Check out her monthly review at storymusings.blogspot.com. Then from 10 to 11 a.m., we've got February Artful Storytime 1. This is a 4-week session of stories followed by arts and crafts, recommended for kids ages 3 through 6. You do have to register. This program is held at the library. The next event is actually full. It's February Artsy Kids 1. This again is a 4-week session of art, history, and painting in this case. And this is week 1 of the series. The program is designed for and open to homeschool children ages 7 through 12. Moving on to the programs in the afternoon from 1 to 1:20 p.m., there's the debut of the new Library Connections video, which you can access through Facebook and YouTube. And then from 4 to 6:30 p.m., it's Teen Dungeons & Dragons, led by Dungeon Master Robin. This gathering is suitable for ages 13 through 17. All levels of experience will be welcome in this safe space. Come to one or all gatherings. If you have questions about Dungeons & Dragons, contact Dungeon Master Robin, who also hangs out at the reference desk at the library. His name is Robin Lash, and you can send him an email at lashr@stls.org or give him a buzz at area code 607-936-3713. That's the library's main number, and his extension is 213. I think they have a good time with Teen Dungeons & Dragons too, so if you haven't checked that out and you're a teen, you might want to check it out. And here briefly is the list of library programs contacts. If you have any questions about any programs at the library, let us know. And that's the program for this week. I'll be back next week with a new edition of Library Connections. Have a great week.